It is Remembrance Day today. It's the 11th of November 2025. It's about 20 minutes to 11. We're going to make a quick video before we go for a ride. And the video is obviously going to be about World War I. So we're talking about the 9th of May 1915, 5 o'clock in the morning. Haig, in charge of the First Army, decides that he's going to attack the German trenches over a 1,400 yard front. He has 100,000 men in 6 divisions to do this, and one of the division generals has the name of Hawking, and Hawking is famous sort of because in the late 1800s, when he was in the military academy, he wrote a book, and the book was called Company Training. So he wrote this book, Company Training, and he based his book on the successes of General Robert E. Lee in the American Civil War, before there were machine guns, before there were cartridges, when they used muskets primarily. And he wrote this book, and basically in his book, you should look it up, what he said in his book is that if a stronger army is well entrenched and well defended and has plenty of ammunition, but the weaker side just attacks, it will win. And in his book, his quote says, "They will win as surely as there is a sun in the heavens." And this is pretty much based on the fact that the Union was pretty strong, the Confederates were somewhat of a rabble, and yet Robert E. Lee constantly won. But I won a lot of the time. So anyway, basically what I'm talking about here is one of the generals, Hawking, was of the view and had written a book for the British Army saying, attack, and you will succeed no matter the other side is a stronger army and a better defended army. Just attack. So Hawking had 18,000 men. 5 o'clock in the morning on the 9th of May 1915, bombardment starts with over 1,000 guns dropping continual amount of shells onto the German lines for 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, many of the British soldiers were firmly of the view no Germans could possibly have survived such an amazing bombardment, such a tough bombardment, couldn't have survived. And so they're quite confident when they go over the top and into no man's land, which was 400 metres wide, that they were going to be successful. I should point out at this stage that no man's land was not one straight trench facing another straight trench. It was curved, and it was curved so that the apex of the curve is facing into the British trenches, and at the point of the apex of this curve there was a finger sticking out. This meant that when the Germans weren't just machine gunning straight across no man's land, the finger allowed them to shoot across. I'm not sure I can explain that properly. It's a curve that gave them amazing crossfires. And so the first wave sets off, 2,135 men are killed in the first wave, which is a complete dismal failure. Hawking then sends in 1 hour later, let the Germans get settled. 1 hour later, he sends the remaining, what's left of his 18,000 with 2,000 odd dead, he sends a second attack. Second attack is yet again decimated, absolutely decimated. This time, he thinks, hang on, how about another bombardment? So he calls for another bombardment, and again, nobody could possibly survive this bombardment. Well, the reality is, wait till we get to the end of this video and I tell you what the final casualties of this battle were. So after this bombardment, good old Hawking, he sends the third attack across, and at the end of the third attack, not one single yard has been gained. Not 1 yard has been gained. So his book, he says, just keep attack. And for this has been pretty much covered up. You can look this up yourself. But for once, when he goes to launch the fourth attack, his senior officers are as close as you can come in the British Army to mutiny, and they warn him that they will refuse his order if he tries a fourth attack. So at the end, he doesn't send the fourth attack in. Haig, it's a complete dismal failure. Haig had 6 divisions. Of his 6 divisions, he loses almost 12,000 killed. One of the things I forgot to tell you was earlier on, when that second attack failed and Hawken called for the artillery bombardment, the facts show that the reality is that bombardment actually killed more wounded British soldiers in no man's land than anything it remotely achieved. So there we are, the 9th of May. The end result is that about 12,000 British soldiers are killed, and after the war they checked the records and it turns out the Germans in that battle where 12,000 odd soldiers were killed on the British side, the Germans lost around 1,500 in their trenches, because it's too complicated to go into how well the German trenches were built with cement, and the bombardments achieved nothing. But the interesting thing is, of course, because Hawken was such a dismal failure, this attack was such a dismal failure, what happened to Hawken? Yes, he was promoted. Isn't that what always happens? And then what happened to Haig for this appalling disaster? In just a few hours, in one day, the 9th of May 1915, 12,000 British soldiers absolutely wasted. It achieved nothing. And what happened is, and let's have a go at the media as we finish off, not just the media, just think to yourself what people do. What happened? Did Haig get into any trouble? Haig, yes, a Scotch multi-millionaire from Scotland. Anyway, we won't go down that path. What happened? The media. Not a bad word about Hawken, not a bad word about Haig. The media blamed the whole thing on the current government, saying it was their fault for not producing enough artillery shells. So there you go, there's my... So it was relatively quick, but still not 11 o'clock yet. I want to be in the saddle with a flag riding around for 11 o'clock, but this is Remembrance Day 2025, and there's a video. I wonder how many are watching. Not many watching the videos anymore. A few diehards, eh? Okay, cheers. A few photos here of our ride. We'll add a few photos, shall we, mate? What do you reckon? What do you think? What do you think? Fromelles, Belgium, May 1915. Just a few hours of 1915. Watch the video.